So today we are going to be four-wheel driving our way through Middle-earth, aka Queenstown. Queenstown is part of Middle-earth, okay? This morning we are being picked up straight away from the Nomads Queenstown Hostel by Nomads Safaris. They are going to be taking us on a 4x4 trip around Queenstown to see this awesome area and all the off-the-beaten-track places. Our guide is Laura, who is born and bred in Queenstown. It's not often that you actually meet a local in Queenstown, and she's the perfect person to take us around this area.
Our first stop is a lookout over the beautiful Kawarau River, which is a famous Lord of the Ring location. It is that part where in the Fellowship of the Ring, the Fellowship is canoeing under those giant statues. And this obviously makes for heaps of very nerdy pictures that the entire group is taking.
As well as some Lord of the Rings locations, we are going to an awesome vantage point where Laura can tell us more about the history of the Queenstown area and the Wakatipu Basin. This has a whole gold mining history surrounding it. Queenstown is not just the adrenaline and adventure capital of New Zealand. And speaking of gold mining, we are now off-roading our way down to the Arrow River, which is a famous place to actually find some gold ourselves, which we will be doing later in the tour. But for now, we are having a crazy time doing about 14 different river crossings across the river.
That's right, in our quest for gold, we are gonna be going in and out the Arrowtown River heaps of time, and our four-wheel ride is up to the task. This Land Rover is a beast and is absolutely not stopped by anything. There is a ton of rocks below this river. It's shallow, it's deep, there is heaps of different tree trunks that just fell into the water, and the truck is going over everything with ease.
The trip is about 2 hours long, and we are on the Gold Seeker tour today with Nomad Safari. It's a really awesome way to see the area, and Laura actually gives us the choice whether we want to focus on the Lord of the Rings side of things or focus more on the history of Queenstown. And it's a unanimous decision. We decide all together, us along with the two other people on our tour who are students from the US, that we want to learn more about the history of Queenstown.
To be quite honest, it's not so much the history of Queenstown which is attracting everybody, but the prospect of finding our own gold. Laura tells us that along the tour we are gonna get a chance to find our own gold, since the Arrowtown River was very famous for being one of the most gold producing rivers of New Zealand. So as we keep on moving toward the gold panning location, we are crossing the river again and again and again. Laura is showcasing incredible skills in maneuvering the four-wheel drive around the very tortuous terrain that are presented to us today. On the back of the truck, we are having a blast. Everybody is laughing and chatting and screaming. It's a lot of fun. And quite surprisingly, we don't even get wet, despite the truck being almost halfway submerged into the water at some points.
It's a crazy journey, but eventually we do make it to our gold panning area. So Laura is filling up some gold pans with dirt and showing us the techniques used to find gold in the Arrow River, which you really have to have a lot of patience and technique to find. And Laura, in first try, finds a little speck of gold. Right here, Laura has found less than 20 cents worth of gold. So now it's time for us to try this for ourselves, get the gold pans and do some swirling action.
While none of us find a single speck of gold, we are rewarded anyway with a nice little lunch. But we do some quick math and quickly check that it took Laura about 2 minutes to find this 20-cent speck of gold, making it a whopping $6 an hour as a gold miner. I really think that we should be sticking to what we're currently doing.
And now we are moving on to one of the world's most dangerous roads, winding its way along the edge of the Skipper's Canyon. This place is absolutely crazy, but luckily we are in the right vehicle to get down there. We then arrive at an old pub, or at least the remains of one.
The story tells that in this pub, the owners was only hiring really ugly barmaid because he was sick of miners striking gold and living with his barmaid to go live the high life in other parts of New Zealand.
On the way back up the Skipper's Road, we are taking the time to make a few pit stops along the way to actually embrace these amazing views. We have lots of photo opportunities to take, and Laura is helping us out with all our photos. It's really awesome. Laura's also pointing out some really bizarre shapes that we can see in the rocks around us. For instance, we can see King Kong's face etched into the rocks, as well as Lighthouse Rock.
Being a local, Laura also have heaps of stories to tell us about the area, especially stuff that she used to do when she was much younger, taking dirt bikes down this crazy road. I just cannot believe what the locals can get up to sometimes.
This is a really awesome way to see around Queenstown, especially if you don't have your own mode of transport, or if you are like us and you have a crappy camper van that you just hate driving everywhere.
And in no time at all, Laura drops us back into the little township of Queenstown, where we have to get on to a little bit of shopping.
We are going to Torpedo 7 because we need to get some new gear.
We are really putting our clothes and gear through their paces, so we really need to buy some new ones almost every 6 months with this crazy adventure. Laura's getting herself some flashy new shoes, I'm getting some new tops, some new pants. We even get ourselves a new backpack because almost everything was destroyed, and we're back on track for the next leg of our trip. The scene from the Lord of the Ring. It's the one where they have the big statue that put their hand right in front of the screen, for the people to say, "You shall not pass," and then the statues transform into golems, and Hagrid arrives.